All right, I have a question for you. Who all was doing the fast? Just real quick. There should be more hands up. Anyways, Jackson, raise your hand. Okay. How do we feel about getting our stuff back? I've had a lot of sugar today. I feel great. Anyways, so I'm about to introduce somebody very incredible. So what I want you to do is I want you to stay seated, make as little noise as possible, and introduce Ashlee White. Stop clapping. Stop clapping. I love you. I'm not going to let go of you. My bad.
I don't know why you guys let him do that. Okay. Oh, okay, that's a bad idea. Neil, come on. I haven't even done anything yet. Is Cowan here? Cowan, what time is it? No, not the actual time. What? Okay, story time. So, there's my boy. I love you, bud. Okay, I love you too. Listen. Okay, I'm trying to tell you a story. I love you too. Okay, so I'm kind of in this cult type thing. I'm going to tell you how I got there. So before I had Ollie, my daughter, some of you don't know, I have a little girl. And before I ever even got pregnant with her, I found this clothing brand. And I thought it had the cutest dresses. And I was like, okay, if I ever have a little girl, I'm definitely going to dress my little girl in this clothing brand. It's so cute. And then I got pregnant with her, found out she was a girl. And so I joined all these Facebook groups for this clothing brand. And I discovered that it was not like Target or Amazon where you could just, find what you like, put it in your cart, order it, and have it delivered to your house. It was like a war zone. So every Thursday night, this clothing brand would release like 100 dresses at 8 p.m. And there are thousands of women trying to get these 100 dresses. And these women are crazy, like fighting each other on the internet, crazy. And so everybody logs in Thursday night, 8 p.m. And these people, they would have what they would call carting parties. Like, you would try to cart your dress, and they would have people come over and set up 7 different laptops and have a bunch of different phones so they would have a better chance of getting the dress. Because if you got the dress at, right when they would get the dress, whoever got these 100 dresses, these women would get on the Facebook groups of this clothing brand and then sell the dress. Before they even ever actually had the dress in hand. I'm talking at 8:03, they would sell this dress that they just purchased for around $60. They would sell it for $300. They would list it for $300, and these crazy women would purchase it for $300. And then they would see, okay, these people were willing to pay $300 for this dress. I'm going to list mine for $350, and someone would buy it. So then they'd say, okay, they paid $350. I'm going to list mine for $400, and somebody would buy it, and so on. And these people were literally crazy, but everybody was willing to buy it because they wanted these dresses. And some of these dresses were not even that cute. They weren't cute, but people were willing to pay this price because they wanted what someone else had. And so they were willing to pay for it. And I thought, this is insane. I am never going to put my child in a $350 dress. So here is a picture of Ollie in her first $350 dress. one of many. So anyway, that's how I joined the cult. Now she models them, and we get them for free, and I get to sell them for, $350. But anyway, that's how I joined the cult of the crazy, well-dressed wolf, or as Mindy likes to call them, wildebeest dress groups. So anyway, it's a crazy world. Don't ever join it, people. If you ever have little girls, it's crazy. But have you guys ever been jealous of somebody or wanted something that somebody else had? Raise your hand. That should be every single person in this room. You've never been jealous. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay. Okay. When you felt jealous of somebody, did it make you feel happy? No, probably not. Did you feel at peace when you felt jealous? No. You probably felt, not at ease, probably felt sad, unhappy, maybe even angry, but probably not peaceful. So Proverbs 13:40 says, "A peaceful heart gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones." And so that's like a pretty dramatic verse, like rots the bones. Sounds pretty dramatic, but for me, I feel like that kind of just tells you jealousy takes over your body. Like it takes over your thoughts, it takes over your mind, your actions. If you let it in, it can take over everything. And jealousy it consumes you, and it starts when we start comparing ourselves to other people, when we start wanting what somebody else has, or we start looking at somebody else's life and we wish we had it, their relationships, and we wish we had what they have, their clothes, whatever. 1 Corinthians 13:4 says, "Love is patient, love is kind, love does not," anybody know the end of that? Love does not envy. What'd you guys say? That's right, too. Love does not boast, but love does not envy. So now we know that you can't have jealousy and love and peace. And I feel like love and peace are two very important things to have in your life. So, Breeson, can you come be my water bottle holder? Yay, Breeson! She has no idea what she's doing up here. I just told her she was going to hold a water bottle. She very excitedly volunteered. Okay, so let's say that this bottle of water represents your life. And the water is your life, okay? And let's say that Breeson and Jessica audition for this for the same part in a school play. But Jessica gets the part. You guys don't act like that couldn't happen. Come on. Did it happen?
Well, kind of, but it was a job, and yeah, anyway, keep going.
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to give it to Jessica. Okay. You got it, Jess. Okay, anyway. So, Jessica gets the part in the play. Okay, yeah, good job, Jess. And, okay, that makes Breeson feel a little jealous. But, that's normal, right? That's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to calm down. I'm not going to miss it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's normal to feel a little bit jealous. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't do anything about it. You don't talk to God about it. You don't ask for forgiveness because it's normal. It's not a big deal. You feel a little bit guilty about the way you're feeling towards Jessica, but you just ignore it, move on. But then practice starts. And Jessica's a really good actress. And everybody starts noticing how good she is. And the teacher notices, and all your friends notice. And you're starting to feel a little bit more jealous. And it's really starting to bother you. And then all of a sudden, the more that starts bothering you, the more everything about Jessica starts making you feel jealous. Her hair, her clothes, her friends, boys, her car until she ran it into a sister, but we'll leave that alone. And it really starts eating at you. And then you start comparing yourself to everybody. And you start wanting what other people have. You start comparing yourself to, you want Kaylee's hair and Kaylee's clothes, Riley's friends, and, Gracie's friend group. And why aren't you good enough? Why aren't you as good as them? And you start letting it take over your life. And what happens? Consumes your whole life. It takes over everything. It spreads. It rots the bones. You can put it down. Thank you, Breeson. Good job. She did so good. Good job, Jessica. So jealousy can not only hurt your relationship with people, but it can also hurt your relationship with, I'm trying not to get this on myself. Okay. It can also hurt your relationship with God. So last week in our small group, after Matt had talked about self-hate, we talked about how it's hard for us to really see ourselves as God sees ourselves because we can't understand how much God truly loves us. We just can't fathom that kind of love. Matt talked, I think it was at Refuel, about he didn't understand a kind of love until they had Elle, until he held Elle. And as much as Matt and Cassie love Elle, and as much as Mindy loves Jackson, and I love my kids, I still can't fathom how much God loves me. And if God loves us that much, and he made us in his image, imagine how he feels when we want what someone else has. We feel like how he's made us and what he's given us isn't good enough. And I know when my kids, as a parent, when my kids don't feel good enough, it breaks my heart. So as a human parent, if that breaks my heart, think about how that makes God feel when we tell him how you've made me and what you've given me and your purpose for me isn't good enough. And I want something different. I want what someone else has. I want something better because whatever you have for me isn't good enough. Jackson and Easton, will you come up here for me? They promised they'd be good. I didn't tell them what they were doing, but they said they would be good. We'll see. I know. You don't have to touch each other. Just walk up here. I know. You come over here. You don't need to touch each other. Come on. Okay, this is completely hypothetical. I just have to say that. Okay. Now, let's say that Easton is a really good singer and he plays the guitar really well. But he's not a good speaker. He doesn't speak well in front of people. This is where the hypothetical part comes in. And let's say that Jackson, you're fine, speaks really well in front of people, does a great job at that, but he doesn't sing well. That's hypothetical. We just heard him kill it. Easton really wants to be able to speak in front of people, and he's really jealous that Jackson can do that. Jackson really wants to be able to sing and play the guitar, and he's really jealous of Easton that he can do that. Now, what if these two switched places and gave up the talent that they had? But what if God had a plan for Easton to lead a song, and that night somebody was going to hear that song, and it was going to speak to their heart, and they were going to give their life to God? And what if Jackson was going to speak, and God was going to speak through him and use his message to speak to somebody, and they were going to give their life to Christ. You see what happens when you want what someone else has and you don't accept what God has given you? When you don't use your talent and what God has given you and you're jealous of somebody else, you lose sight of God's plan for you, and you lose opportunities of how God can use you.